And we are live. Good morning, everyone. One more live streaming for Vaha Vibes. My name is Andres Souza, Black Belt Peddler. I have here on my side Mike Alama and Scott Miller, the voices of the Vaha community. Welcome, guys. Uh, we are here in this beautiful island of Raiatea. We're in a beautiful catamaran here. We have some friends participating in racing. We have a lot of people from USA. We're going to talk about that. Today is actually the day two of the Hawaiki Nui, the 2023 Hawaiki Nui. And yesterday we have the day one that it was coming from Huahine. The men's came from Huahine to Raiatea, and the women's did a short course here inside Raiatea. But I want to bring another point here. Today is a very sad day for the VA community. Um we have our guests here, Mike Alama and Scott, that are going to be explaining to you guys something happened, and we're going to be talking about this. Mike and Scott, welcome to the show, and it's a pleasure to have you guys here again and doing this live streaming of the 2023 Hawaii Nui.
Thanks very much, Andre. I feel like, Micah, we should talk about Kevin Quair and what happened yesterday. If you want to give us a little bit of a rundown on that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just a really sad day, and I think it's a good time for us to take a moment for some silence and just prayers to Kevin and his Ohana. It's a really sad day, so if we could all just bow our heads and pray for him and his family. Thank you. It's just a really sad day yesterday. The men started their race, and approximately maybe 15-20 minutes into the race, there was maybe some issues on Pire's boat, and it came to our attention a little bit later that Kevin had potentially collapsed inside of the boat, and later on we did find out that unfortunately he did get rushed to the hospital and passed away early this morning. And absolutely, it's just a really emotional day for a lot of the clubs around here. And
absolutely, Kevin Quair is a champion paddler, and we have to respect his family and respect all of the love that they have for him and that we have for them. And so we have to make sure that real honor is paid to him. He's a champion paddler, from a whole family of champion paddlers, and it's just shocking that someone so young and so fit is taken from us so soon. So I know that he would want other people to continue with the race and paddle hard today, because that's what he would want. So.
And yeah, not only an amazing paddler and professional, but a beautiful human being as a person. And yeah, we are here sharing our love with all his family, with our friend Stevie, our love for you guys, and all the respect of the world for Kevin Quair and all his family.
Right, absolutely. We also want to take a minute to thank our sponsors for making sure that we are able to present this to you live streaming from Raiatea on our way to Taha. So thank you very much to Air Tahiti Nui, Area Rigger World, Tahitian Paddle, and Va'a Fitness. Without your assistance and support, we can't bring this to you. So, and now I think we should talk about today's race and maybe a little bit about yesterday.
Yes, absolutely. I think we're all excited to find out how today is going to turn out. We do look like we have fair conditions today for day two. Today is going to be the championship day for the Huahine. So the Huahine senior women, they are taking the course currently behind us, and they will get started very shortly. For day two, we're going to get to crown the women champions, and it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a really good fight, and I think we all know what we're going to see. We're going to see some heavyweights basically battling it out there on the course. Again, did you want to tell us a little bit more about that course, Scott? Exactly what the course is going to entail, and give a little bit of feedback to our audience here.
Sure. So today's course is entirely inside the lagoon here. We're going to be inside the reef. We're traveling from Raiatea all the way to Ta'a. It's a downwind, such as it is. We're not going to have a lot of wave action. It's very flat within the lagoon, but it's a big push. It's about 20 knots per hour working across the lagoon. They're going to circle around the left side, going clockwise around the other island of the lagoon, Taha, and they're going to find some dead conditions. Well, such as it is in a windy condition like this, it's going to be a little bit more dead, and then finally a little bit of wind in the face for about the last mile and a half. But we were talking earlier, Micah and Andrea and I. This is the steers people are going to make or break this race. They're going to jockey for the right line. I really feel like local boats have somewhat of an edge because they understand even inside where the currents are and what's going on with this. So, but we, as you say, we have 3 heavyweight crews in the women's division duking it out for first place. Any of them, if the other 2 make a mistake, are poised to capture it.
Yeah, that's so 100% accurate right there. So currently, we did get a final results yesterday for our top 3 women. Coming in first place was Team Ihilani, local team right here, right out of Tahiti, captained by none other than Baimiti. Baimiti is an absolute hammer, and she's been doing really well with her crew over this past year. As you know, they've also have won Vodafone. First women's ever to win the Vodafone race this past year as well. And, you know, I think they're a very, very, very strong crew. And then coming in second, not too far behind, less than 1 minute, is Teva. Teva Canoe Club is a big heavyweight here. They come here and battle every year. They're also pretty well known. Philippe is their coach, Bernardino, along with, as you know, the Hinatea's family to that group there. And I think 2017, 18, and 19, yes, I believe they won.
They won this race.
Right. And
they won this race.
So this is,
it's always a strong team, right?
Yeah. So this is going to be a battle. And of course, there was an invite this year. Dana Point. So Dana Point outrigger from California showed up to compete against the best, and they are an undefeated team this year. So we have 3 solid top 3 crews, and of course, we're not ruling out anyone else. We did have a strong crew from Hawaii come down, Kaihitu. They're from the island of Hawaii. They have an awesome program down there. They are absolutely very talented women, and they put on a really good showing yesterday as well, and they're not out from being contenders. So I would say between those 4, those are the favorites right now, and there's 17 women's crews, so this is going to be an absolute battle. And as you know, we say that this course is a sprinting course for day. And again, this is going to be 26 miles, and hopefully we can. Looks like I got slightly disconnected there, but as of right now, it looks like we're going to go ahead and see this sprint course for the men and a little bit more of a distance course for the women. And again, it's 26 kilometers, so we're looking at probably just around, give or take, I want to say 15 miles, 15.8 miles, I believe. So we're kind of looking into that right now as being a sprint race for these crews here. Right. So pretty excited to see that. I'm gonna throw the video. Yeah. Okay. You can always edit.
Right. We're gonna have to edit that out.
I think now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do a recap for those of you who went to day one. We're gonna go ahead and do our recap here for you. And
so race, very, very strong. Constantly strong. made their way out of the lagoon past the Motu. I'll tell you, we were following them yesterday and we had mountainous collisions. The top crews were...
Okay, Scott, look like we have some issues with audio here. We're in the middle of the Pacific. It's always like when you do something live, it's always like a kind of not, some things can get wrong, right? But we got disconnect from our audio, but we're here and we are talking about this, right, Mike? About we are here to do a recap, a 20-minute recap of what happened yesterday, so people can know. Gonna be update of the results and how the race behaved. We put a short clip together here. That's what you have on the screen, and we can be comment on top of that. But Micah, feel free to explain to our viewers and what you guys are talking when we got disconnected about the race, about the expectations for the girls. We have a strong team from USA, the actual champions, Dana Point, ultra long distance champions, right?
Yes.
They are here. They performed really good yesterday. They have some issues on the start. We're gonna talk about that. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a recap. This, what you have on screen right now, it's a recap of what happened on the day one that the girls did the Raiatea short course.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. Did you want to go ahead and share a little bit about maybe the pule that they shared earlier, so we can kind of give a little bit of respect to this area? You know, it's a very special island, and I think we should talk about that.
I agree. So Raiatea is known as the Sacred Island. It's also it's a UN World Heritage Site. We have here Tapu Atea, which is the area where the Polynesians went and colonized the rest of the Pacific. So they look at this as the birthplace of the culture. This is, you can go down to Tapu Atea. It is, I mean, I get chicken skin thinking about it because it's like going to a cathedral. This is a sacred spiritual place, and you can just imagine the chieftains sending their crews out in the Pacific to Rapa Nui, to Aotearoa, to Hawaii. This is the location where everyone departs from. So to hold this race here, this is an incredible sort of cultural touchstone. And so, what do you think?
As you can see here on the start, this was the start of the women's. That's where they have the trouble, right, Mike? The Diva, that is the red canoe, and you see these master girls.
Right.
Can you talk about this start?
Yeah, so this is on the video, you know, again, this is the Raiatea start with all the women. You can see that there was a big little hookup here. This is the Dana Point women that got tied up with a couple other canoes, as well as Teva. And you're going to see shortly after, as well as Hihilani. So your top three crews ended up getting in a little bit of a, I want to say a little bit of a pile up here at the front. Definitely nothing new for a lot of races that start off with multiple boats that are lined up exactly right next to each other.
Right.
Most crews are trying to get a great position and a great line right from their start.
It's always difficult, right? When you have like big canoes like that in the open water, we have the tide, we have like boats, different boats trying to position itself. It's always difficult.
As you can see, you know, even in this slow-mo video that we put together, Dana Point was able to correct and move over. Also, if you notice, Teva's on the inside of them, and you know, so that's just the start. You know, we had just over about 9.3 miles for their first race,
right?
And so there's still a lot of race that goes on, but absolutely, it could be, you know, a mental block, if you will. It's one of those things where you're expecting to get a really good race start, maybe no situations like this, and you might feel like you got at a disadvantage. But looks like they did really well. As you know, the results we spoke about earlier seems to work out pretty well for them. They fared pretty reasonable, if you would ask me. Luckily, there was no hoolies on the start. You know, if the boat did hoolie, definitely you'll be losing quite a bit of time. So as you can see, it wasn't a clean start, but it did open up into the pass, and you're going to see a little bit more footage as we get going.
No, definitely. And you can see those are top teams, right, Mike? Yes. But those are top teams. How they react fast for a situation, like they're real champions. You know, that's how you see is a good team is very connected. You know, you saw the Dana women that they got stuck, but they're able to really fast figure out Teva's right too. and was like a side by side with Hilani right from the beginning, and was a beautiful race.
Right. We also saw yesterday that these top crews, they're not only able to sort of extract themselves from the pileups, but then they bring it together, they get it together. There's a lot of tahoe in these boats. There's a lot of unity. The crews with the most unity, they found the front of the pack pretty readily, and they started to separate themselves well within the first mile. There was quite a gap between the front of the pack and the back of the pack. It was actually a thrilling race to watch.
And you see in this image, like the Dana women's coming really strong this year. Like it's gonna be beautiful to see this day. We're gonna be doing, by the way, we're gonna be doing today the recap of the day 2. So you're gonna have some. I'm gonna put another link up with images from the second day that our cameraman and drone guy are getting images right now. Unfortunately, we cannot do the live stream, the full live stream, like we usually do, because we have to respect here that we're working at TNTV is doing the live stream here, but we're collecting data, and we're gonna put the live stream in English and Portuguese for you guys. Now, Scott and Mike, I wanna just jump in Portuguese really fast for people in Brazil. Listen,
Sure.
Pessoal do Brasil aí, hoje é o segundo dia da Hawaiki Nui 2023. Nós temos aqui 2 brasileiros aí, pelo menos, o Igor e o Robert aí competindo, fizeram a prova ontem aí, mas hoje a gente começou a transmissão de uma maneira um pouco mais triste e respeitosa, porque nós perdemos aí o nosso amigo Kevin Quair, que é o irmão mais novo aí do Steve, e a gente ainda não sabe o que aconteceu, mas ele teve um problema dentro do barco ali, ele colapso dentro do barco e não pôde terminar a prova. Isso aconteceu por volta de 20 minutos de prova, e hoje de manhã a gente recebeu a notícia de que ele acabou falecendo. Então, todo o nosso respeito aí, todo o respeito da comunidade do VA ao redor do mundo. Aqui nós temos o Havaí, aqui nós temos os Estados Unidos, nós temos outras pessoas do mundo, Nova Zelândia, todos em respeito hoje, orando pela família do Kevin, pela família do Steve Boy, todo o nosso amor aí pro Steve e para a família. A VA tá em luto hoje em respeito ao nosso irmão Kevin Quair. Ontem nós tivemos o primeiro dia de prova, que foi de Huahine para Raiatea, a divisão Open masculina, e o feminino fez uma prova aqui interna dentro de Raiatea, com Master e Juvenil. Isso que você está vendo aí na tela é o time da Hilani, e é um recap das imagens de ontem que foram capturadas. A gente não faz a transmissão ao vivo, porque é uma transmissão da TNT, da TV taitiana, e a gente respeita isso, mas a gente está coletando imagens aqui. Vamos estar fazendo essa transmissão do segundo dia hoje, no final do dia. Agora comentários em inglês e português. Ontem a prova feminina foi vencida pelo time da Iliane. Essa canoa vermelha chegou na segunda colocação, um time bem forte do Teva. E as garotas da Dana Point, que são as atuais campeãs mundiais de longa distância, na terceira colocação. A prova feminina termina hoje, são apenas 2 dias de prova. Ela termina hoje. Hoje é o considerado sprint deles aí de 20 km, 20 e poucos quilômetros. E a prova acabou de começar. Nosso piloto de drone aí, nosso cameraman está coletando imagens para a gente apresentar, botar um recap do dia mais tarde. Peço respeito a todos aí pela família da VA, o nosso irmão Kevin Quair, e hoje nós vamos estar voltando comentários em inglês e português. Mike, I was just explaining what we talk about in Portuguese for my followers in Brazil, but now let's get back to the recap of the day 1.
Sure. Well, as you see this video here, you can see the conditions on the outside of the reef. We're really for boats that knew how to surf and take advantage of these waves and connect them. They just really kind of walked on the rest of the pack. Micah, you paddled in conditions like this your whole life, so why don't you talk a little bit about what that feels like, being in a canoe like that for someone who's never experienced that?
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. I mean, any new place that you travel to, obviously it's going to be a little bit challenging if you don't know the course. Many of those that have traveled for the first time here to Tahiti and trying to understand what the course looks like, maybe the reef line, it could be definitely a disadvantage for you if you haven't been in rougher surf, if you will. The wind was pretty high for us. It would have been maybe close to about 30 miles per hour for our standard. And it's, to me, that's pretty common from where I'm from. We get trade winds about 25 to 30 miles per hour very consistently. So we did see some really good surf out on the backside of this reef line here. And I will say that if you have a dialed in crew that is, comfortable with their steersman, you're going to have a really good day out there on the water. You're going to enjoy that type of condition, and you're going to trust your steersman and your crew to, push through if there's any type of challenge, whether it's, surfing on a wave or just maybe some side chop that you're not used to. And I do know that there is some crews maybe are not used to that little bit extra slop around, if you will, and that could be a challenge. Absolutely, it might slow you down.
And not only about that, but yes, you guys are talking about the weather, but today's expected a good weather, and we were expecting this yesterday, and it was funny because conditions change really fast here.
Yes.
We are going to in direction of the Motu, and when we turned the Motu, the swell got big yesterday.
Really big. And I think it surprised a lot of people as they came out the pass and felt the power of those waves. I have to go back to something Micah was talking about. I think that a steer that's comfortable in waters like this is really going to be a huge advantage. You need confidence in that peperu back there, and I think the results show in exactly that point. You've got two amazing peperu in the first two boats, and our Dana women, they have a great peperu also, and she did an amazing job first time in conditions like this, and results kind of show the proof of the crew. So we're really it's going to be exciting today. We're not going to see waves like this today, but we're going to see a huge push from behind, that's for sure.
Yeah, we have three amazing peperus, three amazing teams, strong teams. We cannot count out Ghana Point. Those girls, they are strong, they're coming fast, they're very focused, so it's going to be a beautiful battle. Micah, yesterday, yes, we have that confusion in the beginning of the women's race, but something similar happened on the men's race, right? With Team Air Tahiti?
Yeah, so, pretty similar. So actually, Team Air Tahiti, you're talking about the Masters.
On the Masters?
Yeah, it looks like just directional. If you took your course.
No. Or I think on the seniors they got stuck on the buoy.
Yeah,
the
so
beginning of their they lost
Air,
a kind of a good minute.
Right, Air Tahiti Nui did tie up on one of the turn buoys coming out of one of the passes.
Air Tahiti, not Air Tahiti, Air Tahiti.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah,
That's
sorry.
Air Tahiti.
Yeah, Air Tahiti did get tied up. They actually took third place though, and they are also about 2.5 minutes behind Shell for first place. And again, for the second leg, I think it's anybody's. I want to say it's anybody's race because conditions are different today. You've got less chop. You're going to be inside of the lagoon pretty much the entire race. So the only thing that you're going to have maybe is the wind factor here. You're going to have tailwind, possibly no wind, and then headwind. So it's all about, I think, stamina, endurance, and really just pushing your canoe your crew to its absolute best today.
Yeah, that's true. I think crew power is going to play a huge part in today's race. Like you say, it's a sprint for the guys, and so the fitness level needs to be right at its peak to make it to the other island first, get around the other side, and come home, make a podium today. So it's like you say, anybody's race. We've got close races for both the open as well as the women, so it's going to be very interesting to see how these crews come out.
Yeah, and see how they started, because the senior division already started. The men's already started. They are the first to start this race, and they start really strong. We can see that Team Tahiti was jumping front right away with Huahine, trying to close that gap to Shell, right?
Right. So how it works is, currently for the women, there's 2 legs. Yesterday was the first day, today is the second day, and we will crown the champion for Hawaiki Nui 2023 right here in about, give or take, in the next 2.5 to 3.5 hours. We will know exactly who that's going to be for the women, and we've been talking about it before. basically they'll take your accumulated time, and the fastest time over the next two courses win. So this is going to be really exciting, and absolutely that's why we're not counting anyone out here at all. And that's the main focus here right now, is how do you close that gap if you're behind, and how do you keep it if you're in front.
That's true. I also feel like if you can control the mental game, if you can control your nerves, if you can keep your mind in your own boat and not what other boats are doing out here. I know it's tough, especially if you're thinking I've got to overcome a 4 or a 2 minute or a 1 minute gap. You're gonna start to, it's natural, you're gonna start to think about what happens next and what the other boats are doing, but you can't let them get into your head. You can't give them rent-free space. You've got to go ahead and focus on your own team, focus on that idea of unity in the boat. Really, the teams with the most unity are going to be the most successful.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we're getting a lot of that displayed here, just in this video that you're watching. There's a lot of unity with all of these canoes that we're watching, and it's been really, really impressive to see these women go out on the course and put together their best efforts, and it's really paying off when you actually have that unity and that strength with your crew. And the most exciting thing I think for us is we get to witness this firsthand.
Yeah.
We get to see these women get out on the water, put it all out there, and like you said, it's really going to come down to staying together, not getting flustered, sticking to whatever agenda or plans that you have with your crew, and just giving it the best opportunity out there for you to come out on top.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good fight today.
So, Micah, kind of changing topic a little bit. This is obviously Tahiti has its own sort of strong, unique culture. Hawaii has its own culture as well. It's linked historically as part of Polynesia and the journeying canoes between the islands back and forth. But what's the meaning of this race to Hawaiians? What's the meaning? How do you feel like, does this factor into your race season at all, or is this just a one-off that would be nice to come to?
No, I think thank you for the question there, Scott. I mean, for me, this is the first time I was invited this year to Tahiti to be a part of Hawaiki Nui. I was invited a few times before. I just wasn't able to make it down here, and absolutely, I would say it's becoming more on the agenda for Hawaiian paddlers to make it down here, and for us is to compete with the best. And I think what does it mean to me? I think it's a little bit different for myself, coming from a family of canoe builders, and I think a family of just paddlers in general. My entire family paddles, starting with my great-grandfather all the way down, and all being canoe builders in my family. So for me, I think coming here and connecting with other paddlers and canoe builders is something that absolutely motivates me to want to be here in a place like this and experience the way I did. I was fortunate enough to grow up hearing all the stories about people that influence the Hawaiian canoe builders, and one that I think everyone here on this island of Tahiti would know, Puniho, and I've heard only stories about that man and what he did for someone like my father. Their connection is building va'a, and to build a va'a for you to get out on the water and experience that feeling isn't something that you can experience unless you do it. So for me, it's kind of more of that connection, being able to come here and bridge that, and I'm really excited. But I do know that in the future we do have some programs such as the one that I'm affiliated with is Rudderless Hawaii Va'a, and Rudderless Hawaii Va'a is built by none other than both my parents, Kimberly and David Kalama, and of course as well as Christian Marston. So that is my dad's Hanai brother, and they created Rudderless Hawaii Va'a as a way to help Hawaiian paddlers, and our goal is to actually get more of our young youth keiki on V1s. If you want to become a paddler and you want to be a really good paddler and really take your paddling to another level, the only way we see that is being on a V1. And so, if for those of you who are watching, a V1 is a rudderless canoe. It doesn't have any rudder. It's a one-man canoe that you paddle and steer at the same time. And it's one of those things that I think many people lose sight of, in Hawaii, is because they haven't exposed themselves to it yet.
Well, I will say that as a V1 paddler, it certainly makes you think more. It puts you more in tune with the surrounding environment. You feel the current, you feel the wind. You have to identify where you are and kind of put yourself within the natural environment. It's a great way to paddle. And now moving on this video, we're kind of shifting away from the women to the finish of the men yesterday. As you see here, Shell was the lead boat, and the thing that's amazing about this crew is they're at the end of a race right here, and if you look at this, talk about tahoe, talk about unity, but they don't even look like they've crossed the channel between Huahine and Raiatea. I don't understand what the kind of fitness level that it takes to get there, but
Absolutely,
it's crazy. And you look at David Tabava in the back there.
David Tabava giving his show on as a peperu.
This guy, he took a line. We were close to the shore as they came around. He took a line that I would have thought was sort of insane, but he actually picked up 2 boat lengths on OPT, which was right behind them. 38 seconds between OPT and Shell.
Right.
So talk a little bit about these crews, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was able to actually follow the entire race for the men's race, and I was able to see exactly how these crews battled as they were making their way through the channel. And I will tell you, absolutely, Shell is again proving why they're the best. If you notice at the very end, they're literally keeping up with one of their chase boats and absolutely running away.
Yeah.
But we did have Shell place. This is Air Tahiti. They're just coming in. They actually ended up in 3rd place. Again, they hooked up in the very beginning. They hooked up on a buoy, and obviously, they came back up and they're contending in the top 3.
A strong team. Strong. Always a strong team.
Yes.
Remember last year they won the beautiful victory in the last leg of the Hawaiki Nui.
Yes.
Right.
It's a team that is coming to go like head to head with Shell. That's their goal. But we saw also Huahine performing really good.
Absolutely.
And Huahine has some people from Brazil over there.
Raiatea also.
Raiatea.
Fantastic.
But by the way,
look
we're
at
talking about those canoes, Mike.
Look
This
at
is beautiful to see. This is something that is not common around the world for to races like from the US. You don't see this too much in US, in Brazil. Tell me a little bit more about the culture about those canoes that I fell in love with right away.
Oh, absolutely. I seen you. Right there. You have 3 paddlers in there with your steersman in the back, and they're using a sail with 2 outriggers there. And these boats absolutely fly.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, if you've seen it yesterday, it was something to see. If you had a chance to watch it, how fast they are, and I think it's pretty amazing because as a steersman, you need to absolutely be on top of that. You're constantly making sure your line is good. You're using the wind. You're using the waves. It's a whole nother level.
It's true, and we saw. I mean, the wind was howling yesterday at the end of the men's race, and these boats were flying. If you're not paying attention to peperu, you're gonna come up into the wind really sharply and lose control of your canoe. We did see one of the boats do this, but he recovered pretty well, and then it doesn't take much to get them going again. They're super fast craft. But going back to something Andre was talking about, absolutely, we're talking about a level of quality. The top 10 canoes here, really, any of these canoes coming out of the islands, the paddling fitness is amazing. It's a culture that we experience here. You see the keiki are getting into canoes. They're getting into conditions like this. It's not really, it's not a foreign thing to them.
I mean, just look at that boat. It's flying. You can see that sail is fully engulfed in wind, and they're just ripping through the water.
They absolutely are
amazing.
But what I think is kind of interesting is we compare the speed of the paddle craft to the sailcraft. The paddle craft are moving.
You have it here on the screen, like in the red canoe was Kahaluikai, right?
It's Kaluikai. Yes, they're a crew built out of Hawaii on Oahu. And they do have members that join from outside, such as Kuria King from New Zealand, and I believe they did have a few others from Tahiti as well. But it's absolutely awesome.
This is Pat on Connection right here, always a contender. Really, really strong boat. The Amin boat is always a fearsome boat. You look at them also, look at that just beautiful technique in that, there's no extra motion. They are really, really a solid boat.
Yeah, I mean, you could have picked anyone out of the group, and they'll definitely be a contender. I would say that if you're competing here at Hawaiki Nui, you're absolutely putting in the time and effort. It was quite awesome to hear yesterday. Team captain from Ihilani by Miti, basically, I think the question that you asked was,
What advice do you have for a young girl who wants to paddle?
Oh, and by the way, I have this interview. I'm gonna put on the screen here. We're getting close to the end of this recap. It's a short recap. We have to move our boat to the finish line, but I'm gonna try to find that interview that we did with Hihilani, the girls team, and yeah, here we are.
Okay, so it was very hard conditions outside, yeah? Or no? Nice conditions.
You like this?
I expect this. I expect this from the champion boat. Nice conditions. So why do you think you did so well today? What was the reason? What was your reason?
Like I think the steerer have learned how to the cap she have to take, and we were on the good way, and she take all the waves she can. The ocean give us the advantage today.
You had some big waves today.
And we had the man of Papiaso. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So what advice do you have for young girls that want to do what you do?
That's a good point. Advice for the young generation coming up, right?
They have to train hard to get up early in the morning.
Don't be afraid, but always enjoy to train together and have fun in the water with friends.
Live with the nature, with the ocean, with the wave, with the swell, with the nature.
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
Okay, now what's the expectations for tomorrow? Now that you're leading the race, expectations for tomorrow?
To win. Have fun. Be the same.
Be the best. Ihilani the best.
Ihilani. All right. On three. Ihilani. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that was really awesome, to catch them after they won yesterday's race, and just as simple as that, train hard.
Yep. Yep. But I think also they were talking about, I don't know if you heard another one of their paddlers say, enjoy one another, be with one another. It's a family. Yeah, the paddling family. We talk about this all the time. We talk about the idea about Ohana, the family, the unity. That's really, really key. And the best teams here, they exhibit that. Like they're doing it on the water, off the water, they're together. And it's an amazing thing to see.
Yes, I mean, it doesn't get any better than going out with 5 other paddlers and having such strong connection and getting into a race and doing really, really well.
Yep.
Win or lose, just being on a water with a crew that you absolutely have a strong connection to, and you guys continuously strive for that same end result is really what it comes down to. And sometimes if you don't have that in your canoe, it can be very challenging, throughout the course, especially if things don't go your way and maybe things are not gelling. So 100%.
Yeah, you can see that the energy in that team is intense. It's a beautiful energy. Hihilani put a show yesterday, as Teva did, and also Dana. So the expectation is amazing. We're gonna be moving for the next location. I'm gonna go back to Portuguese to kind of end in Portuguese this streaming. Pessoal do Brasil aí, então o recap aí de ontem no masculino, Shell liderou, não liderou de ponta a ponta, porque a prova estava sendo liderada pelo time aí que tem o nosso brasileiro Robert Almeida Dias ali da Huahine. O Igor, eu não tenho certeza, me perdoa aí, Igor, mas acho que o Igor está nesse time também da Huahine. Um time forte do Kevin CJ, terminou aí 4ª posição, se eu não me engano, quarta posição para o Huahine. A Shell terminou em primeiro lugar, deu uma diferença aí de uns 38 segundos para o time da OPT, que estava nas cabeças a prova inteira. E no terceiro lugar aí, meus amigos aí do time Tahiti, que tiveram um problema na largada aí, perderam aproximadamente quase um minuto aí, numa boia. Então podem esperar aí que o time Tahiti chegou 2 minutos atrás da Shell aí, mas tiveram um problema na prova ontem, e pelo jeito que eu via por eles começando a prova hoje, que é considerado o sprint deles aí, eles começaram forte, então vão tentar diminuir esse gap para a Shell e para a OPT. A prova feminina, como vocês viram, então vendo aí essa canoa bonita da Irilane, essas ganharam a etapa de ontem, feminino. O time da Teva, uma canoa vermelha de Tahiti, terminou na segunda posição, e as garotas campeãs mundiais de Dana Point, na Califórnia, na terceira posição. A prova feminina, como eu disse, termina hoje, e a masculina a gente volta amanhã para o terceiro dia, que é a maior etapa, a mais longa, que ela sai da ilha de Taha e termina em Bora Bora. A dessa prova da Hawaiki Nui, e pode decidir, com certeza você pode tirar muito tempo e fechar um gap aí que esteja muito grande para o seu primeiro, para as pessoas, as canoas que estiverem na sua frente. Eu vou terminando esse comentário em português aqui, mais uma vez buscando a memória aí do nosso amigo Kevin, nosso irmão Kevin. Todo o respeito, a gente está fazendo essa transmissão aqui para manter os amantes da canoagem que querem ver a prova, e também para saber do que aconteceu, importante, porque é um nome gigante, é uma família gigante. Com certeza Steve, se não é o maior, é um dos maiores nomes da canoagem, e o Kevin, irmão dele, estava entre os grandes nomes, grandes remadores. Mas não só isso, é um exemplo, um caráter maravilhoso, uma pessoa maravilhosa, de um coração enorme, família inteira. O Steve, sem comentários, o Steve Boy esteve aí no Brasil, vocês conheceram ele pessoalmente, é um cara que tem uma vibe, uma energia diferente. Então, todo o nosso Ohana, todo o nosso amor aí para a família do Kevin, do Steve, muitas orações aí para o pessoal, que façam orações aí para o nosso amigo Steve, para a família, que Deus conforte o coração desse nosso amigo e de toda a família dele, né? Um abraço para o pessoal do Brasil aí. A gente vai tentar botar mais um recap. Peço desculpas que é tudo a gente joga esse link aí faltando algumas horas para a prova, mas é do jeito que a gente está fazendo. E a gente agradece desde já a atenção de vocês aí, o suporte de todos. Um abraço para todos os meus amigos no Brasil aí, galera. Continua torcendo aí pro Robert, pelo Igor, que os caras estão fazendo bonito aqui, entendeu? Scott and Micah, I was just updating what we talk about the men's and the women's race for the people in Brazil, recap, and also closing the streaming in Portuguese for them, and bringing also just letting people know, because Stevie is a very loved person in Brazil. He recently was there. Yeah. People in Brazil love Stevie Boy. People all around the world love him. You know, right. It's a guy who has a different energy, who was around him and who had the pleasure to meet Stevie Boy. It's a guy who has a different energy. You know, it's a beautiful human being that I love from my heart, a personal friend. By the way, Stevie and all his family, our love for what happened, and we're here praying for your family with all the respect in the world for your brother and all the family. Kevin is a very loved person, as I said, a great human being, a great person, and we're not talking about only paddling, but it's a great human being that I had the pleasure to meet him, and the whole VA community is with you guys right now.
Right.
Micah, your final thoughts for today. We're gonna be ending this streaming right now, and Scott too.
I think just with that, I want to again, share my sincerest condolences and our aloha for Stevie and his family, and Kevin. You know, I'm praying for you and your family, and I think just with that comes a lot of support from all paddlers. No matter who you are, we're all one family, and we love this sport. We love being here, and we're gonna paddle hard, and we're gonna do it for all those that you know have passed, and just really happy to be here and share that moment with some of our paddling Ohana here. So with that, we'll close out, and I'll let Scott finish.
I have to say, I don't think I could say it better. I mean, a person like Kevin leaves a giant hole in their community. He's much loved, and if you had a chance to meet him or even just to experience his performance as an athlete, you know what a loss this is for everybody. We really extend all of our love to his family, to Stevie, and just to the paddling community that knew him and loved him. And we just know that his spirit goes on in his family, as well as in the paddling Ohana here in Tahiti, the rest of French Polynesia, and across the world. He exhibited exactly the kind of spirit that everyone we would hope would also exhibit. So we're gonna miss you, Kevin.
Aloha.
And that's it, guys. We're finishing this streaming, and as I said, a sad day for the whole VAR community, and we're holding hands here. Scott, Micah, our prayers for all the family of Stevie, and we're closing this streaming with no celebration, with no nothing. We just shut it down and respect all the whole family, the whole VAR community family, and also Stevie's family and Kevin's family. See you guys in the next streaming.
Aloha.
Aloha.